Take that step to reserving this spectacular home before it goes to someone else.
Did you get that number? Don't worry. Hey, Macarena. That was really good. Now, I thought we were going to pause that and chat, but it was had a cracking pace to it. And the Squire of the Shire says, nice to pan the range. Good video there. Great job.
We didn't have to talk over it, did we?
We didn't. We did. Great job there. And Adelia, as Gary says, is a lovely lady. She's great. I think she enjoyed herself there, didn't she? Area patrolled by Crusader Knights as well. So you got extra security if you need it for those armored fellas from Ubdush.
Are they from Tomar?
Oh, I remember those two. Yeah, no, we don't work with those two anymore. Tomare. Right. So tell us then. This is a classic situation that we've described before. Step one, presumably, when buying off plan, is to work with a responsible, reliable, reputable agent.
Come on,
is that right?
Yes, probably.
Right. Okay, go on.
An agent with a pedigree and some history and some reliability, because there are a few who shall remain nameless.
Yes, of course.
That you've got to trust who you deal with.
Yeah,
and that's a personal thing. You build personal relationships up over time. So it's always, I think, a good idea to visit an area quite a few times, have a holiday, a short stay, and get to know the area. In down times like winter. And also like summer, and you can see the extremities of the area. And just get a general feel for what people are saying and what kind of buildings happening, what kind of construction, what the vibe is really, the whole vibe of the place. I always advise people to get out, have a stay, and don't, like they always say, don't leave your brain on the plane, and that's part of the process.
I don't think I've heard that before.
Brain on the plane.
Yeah. Okay. So in the absence
the amount of airports I've left my brain in, you wouldn't believe.
Yes. Not covered by insurance, presumably.
Yeah.
Or they deliver a new brain, it's someone else's. Anyway, back to the
serious about the subject of insurance, and then I was going to go. Are you talking about insuring in my brain?
Yes,
I can get a good price on that.
Yeah, I'm sure Nunu from Winsurance can help us out on that.
Yes, hopefully.
No, in the absence of seeing the building, of course, because it's not built yet, you're suggesting people go to the locality and have a look around, get a sense of it. Okay, all right, good tip.
Even like you look at the lie of the land.
Yes.
What's the drainage is like when it's wet?
Mm-hmm.
How windy it is. Where does the sun come up and where does it go down? What is the exposure? Is it in the right position? Is that what you want? Because all these things you need to know, and also look at the kind of general area and its investment potential.
Right.
Is there a growth factor into what you're purchasing?
And these are things you can discern, even though the house hasn't been built, just by a visit to your chosen area.
Your research, and it's a fascinating subject. But not everybody wants to do it. Some people, they just want an ideal home, and that's fine.
Now, let's say you can't come and do that. Is there somebody you can entrust that process to? Now, presumably not the person selling it, because they're going to tell you everything you want to hear. Could you employ a buyer's agent or a consultant of some sort?
I know Adelia does such a service.
Right.
She's doing it today, I think. Full of legal advice, full of all sorts of research, and you need an agent that has probably got something like 20 years experience, and they're used to dealing with the legal processes, the notaries, any boundary issues that may be coming up, all sorts of things and you need a good relationship with that person, someone that's patient and is a good listener.
And I think as well,
and a doer.
If all you're hearing are positives and you're not hearing of anything that could possibly go wrong, and not just what can go wrong, but what to do about it, that might be a good sign as well, right?
That's
someone who's practical and pragmatic and will give you a real picture of what's going on.
That's a good thing. I mean, you're always going to hear, a differing picture from anybody you ask. You're going to pick up bad and good. You've got to balance it all up. Talk to a lot of people, cross-reference, and make a bit of a study of it rather than just, blindly following a process and not evaluating.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we can do to help people buying at a distance?
When I get my voice back, me. When I get my voice back,
what's going on? Is it?
I don't know what.
Is it the Sugar Espresso that's done it? Okay, stay off that stuff. For heaven's sake, just drink normal beer. What's wrong with you?
Well, what's wrong with you, man? All right, should we go through? I know time's kicking.
We've got 1 minute to go.
I got one.
Let's stay on a bit longer because this always happens when we get chatting.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, let's breeze through this because obviously, point one.
Yeah.
Do your research. Yeah. Research the developer. Check his track record or her track record. Visit projects, and also very good point. Are they actually financially stable?
And you can do that as a matter of public record here in Portugal.
I think you can.
Yes, you can.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't exactly know that process, but you can get your trusted estate agent,
yes,
such as somebody like an Adelia,
yes,
to do that. And they know the locations. They know the problems that people have. I mean, I'm used to this process where I've spoken to people, and I've used builders, etc., where you are actually giving them money up front.
Mm-hmm.
And gone are the days when I gave builders money up front because they said, well, I need to get materials.
Yes,
I make them put the materials on site because you give them. Not everyone, but you give builders money and they're paying for jobs which happen 3 or 4 times before you.
Yeah.
Because of the cash flow.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to anybody. So
it's another brain on the plane sort of thing, isn't it? Because people, I think...
We're not back to that, are we?
Well, in a sense, yes, but not the plane, but being on site and thinking, look, I want to get this done and I'm gonna give the guy the money because it's going to help in the process. You've got to keep your wits about you, haven't you? Because that can go horribly wrong.
And don't get caught up in the dream either. It's very easy to, and there are always snags in the process, but don't kind of steam ahead with the dream. Think about the practicals and just take a moment and breathe and am I doing the right thing here?
Yes. Taking it personally, I think can begin to be a problem for people. I've seen that blight projects when it becomes not a technical or theoretical matter and people start to take the whole thing personally. The client might become aggrieved, the contractor might become aggrieved. Then you've got some problems, and then I think it's quite useful to have a third party, isn't it, mediating in that sort of situation.
I think that's an excellent point. That really is, because I can get a bit stroppy.
I've seen that,
and I've seen it. And so can anybody. It's a pressure process. There's a lot of money involved. It's all going to happen. It's all going to get there, right? But how fast it gets there, is the question.
Keep your wits about you,
because that's another way you can lose money is by the process just slowing down. And if you're looking for a turnover sort of investment property, which you want to put out on the market, and the build is scheduled for 9 months and then takes 1.5 years, you are out of pocket. And that needs to be put into your financial planning. Now, as much as I love Portugal, which I do, and I have 100,000 things to support it, one of the things that you have to be cognizant of the fact is that production processes aren't as quick as, say, the USA or Britain or Germany. They don't man up on their building sites the way I feel they should. So you just have to be realistic. So you can always think about penalties and things like that to build into.
Okay, yes.
As a bit of an encouragement. Or think on the other side, which I think is a lovely idea, to actually give somebody a bonus for finishing on time.
That speaks in a more positive language, doesn't it? Than I'm going to take you down to Chinatown. Okay.
So the second thing is understand location, which is what we've talked about. Ensure strong demand, good infrastructure, and growth potential. But we covered that, So I'm moving on fairly quickly.
Nice.
Right,
morning, Pedder.
Geezer. As an adjunct, right? Antonio F, who's disappeared. I owe this man.
Briefly,
I owe this man an apology.
You do?
Yeah, on the spelling.
And you're taking this opportunity.
I'm taking this to be humble.
Right. Okay.
Watch this space. It doesn't happen very often.
No, that's right.
Right.
Okay. Do you want a drum roll?
Please.
Okay, hold on a minute. Right. A moment of humility. Okay.
Here it is. All the way from Norwich and Birmingham.
Antonio,
moment
he's
of
gone.
humility.
He's not even here to hear it.
But
Maybe
he can replay it, can't he?
Yeah, okay. We'll
Right,
send him
we'll
the
do it
clip.
in slow motion.
We'll make a short of it.
I am sorry.
Wow.
I got the spelling of parad wrong via my kids, right?
I'll blame the kids.
Which he was totally correct. Parad, yeah, it has got an E in it, which means wall.
Yep.
And I was,
You doubled down, didn't you?
I doubled down on that one. No, I don't think so,
I
mate.
don't think so.
And I'm giving this guy lessons about his own language. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Is that why he left? He saw you were on and he just left
up.
immediately.
I didn't even get a chance to give him my apology. I'm sorry.
I'll see that he gets it.
Okay. Thank you. Right. 4. Yeah. Legal protection.
Yes.
Think about what guarantees are in place, in the contract, right? Because and insurance. Now, this is number 5. This is a very important point, bit of a hobby horse of mine. Get a lawyer, and I've put this in myself. Hire independent lawyer from outside the area. Now, why do you think I've said that?
Well, it kind of meets this situation that people find themselves in sometimes, where they get excited about the house, and the agent says, "You could use our lawyer; it'll be so much quicker."
Yeah, and it's all nice and comfortable.
Why don't we go and have lunch with them now?
Yeah, because it so happens, we just got him in the cupboard here.
Yes, I want a sandwich. Yeah. So why?
There's a curious thing about Portugal, and it's a lovely thing that they're very family orientated.
Yes.
Right. Now, if you go to various villages, not so much in Lisbon and Porto, Coimbra, where the population is bigger, but in the smaller areas, San Martino, for instance, everybody knows everybody else, and everybody is connected via a family.
Yeah.
So, you've got the cousins, uncles, mother's brother, right? Sort of affecting decision-making processes.
Yes.
And this can have a legal spillover.
Yeah.
Right. You have lawyers from the area, which have social connections, etc. And they don't really like upsetting one another.
And it's not ill will, is it? It's just the way things work.
It's just the culture.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so to kind of circumnavigate this, why not bring in a lawyer from outside the area?
Yeah, big guns. Yeah.
And then you don't get this kind of it's a strong word saying tainted, but you don't get this kind of colouring of perspective and views.
Yes.
And you have more security.
Well, you're dealing with human beings, and all of us, I think, as human beings, like blood's thicker than mud, etc. You would tend to side with your friends and family, wouldn't you? So it's an understandable.
It's the way it is. I mean, and you've got to understand that you get this in Southern Europe. There are a lot of family structures.
Yep.
So
true, says Hugh there.
Yes. Completion timeline.
Oh, yeah.
Expect delays.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to happen. Right. So don't get out your pram about that. Check about penalties. Right. Consider having delay penalties, because you need some kind of weaponry. Weaponry to come back with. Yeah. So, talk about compensation for late delivery, or as we've said,
I like that idea, bonus for finishing on time. Yeah. Now, remembering as well, though, that money isn't sometimes a primary motivation for people in our culture here as well, right? It's not might not be a guiding principle.
Quite often it isn't.
Yeah,
and which
there might be other important factors.
The charming, factors of Portugal.
Yeah.
Money isn't always the center thing, but then that can be annoying as well.
Yeah. Yes.
So inspect the specs, right? So this means like your washing machines, your tumble dryers, your aircon, right? Make sure you're getting the machinery, the technicals that you require. You may want Bosch, for instance.
You could gloss over that, couldn't you? And then end up, whilst you're thinking you're getting a magnificent Smeg fridge, you just get some cheapie from the supermarket.
There you go.
Yeah.
So protect yourself. Get it written into the contract.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you can be a bit anal about this. You can give the exact model number and make and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, have an exit. Have an exit strategy. Take 3. Yeah. Have an exit strategy. There on the 4th take.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah. The brown ale. Forget it. Consider resale value. Yeah. Rental demand, growth potential. Yeah. In an exit strategy situation, your financial planning always doesn't run as great as it should. Think about, vendability, saleability, and how attractive this would be to future buyers, generations moving into the area, which all comes down to the way that we analyze an area, the growth potential, all the various factors which might impact on, are they going to build an airport?
Yes.
Yeah. New rail routes.
Not anytime soon, but it can. It can happen.
They've been talking about new airport, haven't they?
Yes.
We're talking about Lisbon here. It's been on the agenda for a long time.
What do you think of width being as important as length?
I was going to say I'm a square man, really, but no, I do like a nice oblong, or free form aesthetics. What are we talking about here, bro?
took you that long to
is this geometry?
Good sun exposure, orientation and position of property, accessibility, its outlook, a nice sized garden. Width is important as length. What did you think I was talking about?
Squire of the Shires, a nice sized garden. What's a nice sized garden to a lot of people? You see, if you are getting on in life, you don't want a nice sized garden. I used to know people that would proudly proclaim, yes, we've bought 4,000 square meters of property.
Yes.
And it was, marvelous. Right. And then sort of 10 months down the line, they discovered
you see him in a cafe looking haggard,
all sort of white and withered, and go, we can't get anybody to look after the. Do you know
run
anybody?
Ragged here?
Yeah, I'm run ragged. I can't look. It's beating me.
They're looking 10 years older because that moment when they thought they could get an extra 5,000.
It was
square.
an ego thing.
Yes, it happens in Portugal though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's like I've got 27 fruit trees. It's like, oh, okay,
That's
well that
nice.
sounds good. However. Let's talk again in a couple of years' time after the harvest, and you can't. Do you want a bag of oranges? No,
no. Can I trade these for anything?
What about some madronas? No, please, really, I'm good for it all. And so that is. But seriously though, you could buy on criteria where you think that's amazing. A lot, trees, garden space. Yeah. But if you're not here to maintain it, or if you are here and you can't maintain it, you get yourself into a pretty pass.
You got guys like Lee down in Lisbon, who's a great gardener, right? And he knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But remember, not everywhere has got a great Lee. Yeah,
exactly.
And
as Oscar Wilde once said,
as Oscar Wilde once wrote,
yes,
like what I have got. So you need to think about that. Are you fit enough to do all of this? Because it can slaughter you.
That's a very worthwhile precaution. Yeah. And there were some pros and cons about bungalows, but again, to suit a particular part of your life, a bungalow might be a good choice, mightn't it? That's
the video that we did, they're all planned sort of one story,
one level
constructions.
Yeah.
And I think, when you kind of hit the sort of late 50s, 60s, 70s, you've got to look at, stairs and that type of issue. Because on the one hand, it's a wonderful, positive thing. It can keep you fit, right? Climbing up and down stairs, but really not everybody, with hips, knees, ankles, and all of that, and vertigo or what have you. You've got to plan ahead, So think 5 years. Am I going to manage these steps?
What, and having half of your house out of bounds?
Yeah, because
could you go upstairs and get me something from the back bedroom? I haven't been up there for 3 months. Yeah, be careful up there.
You have to employ a butler to, No, it sounds ridiculous, but it is sensible. It does happen to people because we get this wonderful
and you get carried away.
In Portugal, you get some wonderful opportunities, wonderful, and you do get carried away. You think, I could have a mansion,
yes,
right? Well, there is
and everyone will come out and visit, and they'll stay in all these extra rooms I've got. It doesn't always work out that way, does it?
Not really. And the other thing is, you're never left alone, are you? You always become the most popular person ever when you get there, because I'll come and see. And
the third cousin you haven't seen since that wedding in 1972 rings you up. Yeah, wants to come and stay.
Hey.
Yes, be careful. This sounds like bitter experience. Be careful.
Not me. No, I keep.
No, not you. No, get Garvo
here.
Be careful. Your garden plot is not full of car engine sized rocks. I think that's he's speaking with his own.
He's speaking with some experience there. I think
stripped down to the waist with his block and tackle out.
Yeah.
Dealing
well,
with that.
poor old Garvo, he does suffer a little bit for his property. I mean,
Yes.
On the one side, it keeps him fit.
Yes.
You know, it keeps him mentally motivated, constantly planning, constantly thinking about, you know, what to plan.
But he is very well endowed, as we've been talking about.
Well, you know,
yes.
I don't want to say anything too much about
width
it,
and length.
you know.
Right. Okay. So should we move on to your next point?
Which is secure the finance.
Yep,
yeah.
Okay.
Some banks won't finance off plans, right? Check mortgages. You need a good advisor here.
Yeah.
Right. Fade up music. Here comes Adelia. Right.
Hold on. Have I got something for that?
So you
Good
need...
morning, good morning.
No, wrong jingle. Sorry.
Oh, that was a good one.
It was good,
that was
wasn't it?
interesting.
Yes.
What was that? Sound like John Motson.
Right.
He's a football
No.
He's an ex-football commentator.
Give Adelia a call.
There you go.
There you go. Right. Excellent.
Hello.
Can someone get that? I'm trying to do a radio show here. Right.
Adelia, what should I wear today? What colours should it be?
Hashtag
Yellow.
Hashtag Adelia says. No, actually, we must get. You've made a very good point there. We do need to talk about outfits because we've got the Zumba session that we were talking about last
Oh
night.
no!
And I think we
We're
should
not
put it
back
to
on
the
that.
audience.
I'm
We are
not
back
dressing
on
up in orange lycra.
You
I
so
draw
are.
the,
No, it's not.
so
Gonna,
am not.
It's not going to be lycra. It's not going to be lycra. It's,
Oh, you're
no,
trying
but
to
so
like,
finish,
talk me
finish,
round now,
finish,
aren't you?
because we need to talk a little bit about the weekend as well and the
All right.
party that we're having.
Okay.
But finish your list
Point
first.
10. Now this is important
This is your climaxing point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like a drum roll or some kind of
Another one.
operatic
Okay.
music.
You're
or
so
something.
demanding.
Sorry.
Is that okay for you? All right.
Yeah. Consider currency exchange rates and the impact on
Oh,
your costs.
nice.
Yeah, I feel an adjunct to Sarah coming along here.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got
Spartan effects.
Here's the Spartan effects jingle.
Hooah!
Hooah! This is Spartan.
Hooah!
Right, okay.
Come on, you need some professional advice here.
Yeah.
Right, and some perspective because you can lose a fair amount of chunk. You know,
A fair amount of
fair
chunk.
amount
It's
of chunk,
brummy
you know.
for like, as in being.
Oh, you can lose a fair amount of chunk. You know,
You can become impecunious. I think is what
Impecunious.
he's saying. There,
that's
right?
very Dickensian.
It is, yes.
Mr. Cratchit.
But yes, be careful on the cash and get a good deal because when you're exchanging money,
And
it could make the difference with a big purchase. As Sarah often says, it could buy you a car.
yeah,
couldn't
it's
it? Or
true.
not, as the case may be.
It's absolutely true, especially when you're on the high end. So it does matter.
Yes.
And also there's the peace of mind of securing a rate.
Yeah.
So therefore you can walk away and stop looking at the currency ramifications
Yeah.
every day, every hour, going, should I do it now?
Yes,
Should
I do now. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
once you've done it, and then, you know, the pressure's off,
Yes.
you know,
yes.
and just don't look at it again, because if it goes up, great. If it goes down, great.
Well,
Just say, I've made my decision.
Thank you very much for your very good on the list.